Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yeah, well, it's what we do here. I mean, I'm not going to change, but I will say something about South Florida and Florida overall. There's a lot of the fan base that feels there was no NHL until their team showed up in 1993, which is fine, but I'm here to tell you that there was a league before that. And before I get to the comments here, or more comments, there was a show, a hockey show in Florida, which I don't view as our competition. I guess certain factions do. I feel we all work together growing the sport in Florida. That's what I think. But they did a top 5 fictional hockey player themed show because there ain't nothing else going on right now really to talk about. And they didn't even mention anybody from Slapshot. So, what? Top 5 fictional hockey player, and you don't have that? So, don't even mention Peter Puck, Dean Youngblood from the movie Youngblood, Ogie Oglethorpe. Serena and I agreed ours both would be Reg Dunlop. But theirs is the coach from the Mighty Ducks, Emilio Estevez, and the Tooth Fairy, The Rock. Stop. I don't know. We bring the historical perspective. Not everybody is going to. And I'm ready to move on.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show. Right now.
I'm wearing headphones, rocking it back old school radio days.
How about that?
And somebody said it looks like I'm plugged into a Walkman. And I remember when I got my first Walkman, because my brothers and I had to share it. And I was the youngest, so how often do you think I got it? And you had your case of cassettes, and then people started to crap on your music selection. And I'm like, then bring yours then! How many times did we have that conversation at parties?
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. It's just going to be great. We got great energy for you today. Episode number 1482. I'm back at the South Florida studio after a little roadie earlier this week. Moose is back home after his long holiday down to Palm Desert, where he was good enough to join us almost every day. He made it home safely, Moose. I'm so happy. How does it feel to be back in the 6, the GTA?
Yeah, it feels good, man. Feels good. I will say we were flying back. We didn't fly direct home. We flew into Alberta and then all the way across with some Oiler fans. So there was a lot of disappointed Oiler fans on the flight, from Southern California home to Alberta.
Wow, they don't miss a thing. They don't miss a thing. Well, spoiler alert, a lot of hockey talk here on the program today. Mike Richards will be joining us from Sportsnet 960, The Fan, Calgary, coming up in hour 2. We haven't said that as connected to Mike Richards for quite some time, but we are now, and our good friend Mike Richards, the iconic Canadian sports broadcaster. Some will say should be on the Mount Rushmore of Canadian sports broadcasting. I'm not joking. Certainly talk show host. We're excited to have Mike in hour 2. Boys, can you hit the quick 6 show horn? And we'll quit Mickey Mousing. Look, we got a whole lot of stuff to get to today, so just settle down. We got fans of all various things. We're going to get to them all. So just fill up your coffee cup and let her roll. Let us entertain you, okay? So number 1, we are going to open with the Stanley Cup playoffs. And that's the one thing about travel. You miss a lot. So I don't know where, Darren, how much you saw last night. I'm just going to do some quick one-timers. There were only 3 games. Connor McMichael and Dylan Strome scored a minute early in the second period. Logan Thompson made some spectacular stops among his 25 saves, and the Washington Capitals beat Montreal 2-1 to grab a 2-0 series lead. You referenced what went on in L.A. Adrian Kempe had 2 third-period goals and 2 assists. Captain Anze Kopitar added a goal and 3 helpers, and the L.A. Kings routed the Oilers 6-2. And they go up 2-0 in the series. Leon Draisaitl and Victor Arvidsson scored for the Oilers, but the defending Western Conference champions' endemic defensive struggles couldn't be covered up by the brilliance of Dry and Connor McDavid, who was held scoreless. And in Denver, Tyler Seguin scored at 5:31 of overtime after Dallas killed a late double minor penalty, and the Stars beat Colorado 2-1 in Game 3. to grab a 2-1 series lead, and Game 3 featured the return of Avalanche captain Gabriel Landeskog, but it clearly didn't mean anything for the Avs. So that's what happened last night. I've got a page of notes on last night, tonight, and all the rest. But what were your takeaways? How much of it were you able to follow on the plane home from Southern California?
Yeah, a little bit, enough. And I got home in time to watch the third period, which was what I needed to see of Edmonton and LA. And I mentioned it in my column on Wednesday. And after watching game one, forget about the comeback the Oilers had. For most of that game, like LA is suffocating defensively. They defend you in layers, and they figured out how to, when they put Draisaitl and McDavid together, now how to handle that. Um, Jim Hiller's doing a phenomenal job with the Kings in this series. They're all buying into their roles. They're playing with energy. They're playing with confidence. It's something to see, and the Oilers don't have an answer. I will say this. They'll go back home, and the Oilers win game 3 and find a way to win game 4. Like, the series is a long way from over, but it's not a great start for Edmonton. They largely weren't in the first 2 games.
Well, thank you for all those notes. I didn't stay up and watch the game last night. You turned me on to a little thing called the NHL app some time ago. I have rarely taken advantage of it, but this morning I did. I watched a very good highlight pack, not only from the NHL app, but also on NHL Network, which I'm watching more and more. Tony Lufton, one of the hosts on NHL Network. I'm not sure you guys in Canada are able to get it or see or know who Tony Lufton is. But he's doing the highlight pack, and he goes, for the Oilers last night, new goalie, same result. Right? The Kings torched Pickard just like they did Skinner before. And I do see what the Edmonton media is saying about this is not a goaltending issue. This is a defensive issue, right? And so we had a little bit of a discussion this morning on what should our poll question be. And our poll question is going to be centered on the NFL draft, and that's coming up in the next point. Our hockey question would have been, and we'll probably push it to tomorrow, are the Oilers done? But I couldn't help myself. I put it on Instagram. If you go follow our Instagram story at The Rod Pedersen Show, you'll see 85% of people are saying the Oilers are done. And I feel like, who are these people voting? And do you actually believe that? Because let's be honest, the Oilers weren't done in the Stanley Cup final last year when they went down 0-3. And by the way, here's one of my notes. Home ice, home teams are 12-4 in these Stanley Cup playoffs. The last 2 years, the road teams won more games than the home team. This year, home teams are 12-4. The Oilers aren't anywhere close to out of this. We know that, right? I feel like you know that, Moose, but 85% of respondents are saying they're done. That's not true.
No, it's not. You referenced last year's Stanley Cup final. Like, the Oilers, they get on a roll. They are hard to beat. They're impossible when they get rolling. Like, and things will move downhill. And I know Oiler fans would just wish that, Stuart Skinner mix in a save or two. But it's not really. I mean, I look at the goals, and I don't know. Like, the Kings are playing well. Let's give them some credit. And I know you put Pickard in, and the first shot beats him. I think it was Kempe. But that was an unbelievable play. Short side goes upstairs. Like, you're kind of hanging those goaltenders out to dry. I know you'd like them to bail you out and keep you in a game when you've given up a couple of goals. But the offense has to get going. Defensively, they got to get going. They got a lot of problems, but this is far from over. You're right.
John in Edmonton writes in, and he says, the people voting are probably Winnipeg Jets and Toronto Maple Leafs fans. You're right. Whoever it is, they're wrong. Randy from Winnipeg writes in, and he says, you're not done until you lose 4. As I was reading the results of the poll this morning, Yogi Berra's quote was in my head. It ain't over till it's over, as Randy is just saying now. And the real Oiler fans, I don't think, are bailing. There's no way that they are. Man, they're not. Now, maybe Rich from Edmonton is, though. He writes in and he says, this year's Oilers, too old, too slow. Well, screw it. Tell LA to stay home. You can have the series, guys. Forget it. A couple other thoughts on last night's games. There's a lot of analytics and things that I don't care for. Okay, I got in a chat the other day with an NHL media guy, and he was bringing up high danger chances and shot attempts. And what? A scoring chance you can shoot from your own goal line. If it's on net, it's a scoring chance. I don't get a lot of these analytics, but one thing is that stat of lead time. And as I was watching the Capitals Habs last night, the announcers talked about how the Caps had never trailed in the series. And I still don't think they have. And the Winnipeg Jets have trailed a little bit against the St. Louis Blues in this series, but they've still had it in hand the whole way. And spoiler alert, I'm going to pick the Jets to win in St. Louis tonight. But Darren, that lead time stat, that is as good a stat as you're going to get. And it translates to a lot of sports. If you're not trailing in a series, you got it. I think Montreal is suffering from just happy to be there syndrome. And the Ottawa Senators probably are too. What do you think?
Yeah, game 2, didn't get to watch it, but even looking back and reading some of the analysis and coverage of it, game 1, I thought the Canadians built a lot of confidence, going down and being able to battle back, get it into overtime. I thought, it proved, hey, we belong, we can do this, we can beat this team. In game 2, although it wasn't a blowout by any means, that was Washington saying, okay, no, we're back in control of this thing. We're not letting you back in this. So I'll be interested to see what it looks like when it flips back to Montreal, but that kind of shifts me to Colorado, Dallas a little bit. And to me, Colorado has been in control of that series. Dallas ties it up, just holds off defensively, holds off, finds their chance and scores. And they've been really resilient, the Dallas Stars, and really great after that losing streak going into the playoffs. They needed it. Now they got a little momentum. But I'm not panicking if I'm the Avalanche. They've been controlling that series. They've been leading most of the time. When you look at lead time, if all balances out, Colorado will still win the series. But yeah, I mean, it gives you an idea of who is the better team, but it doesn't mean they're always going to win.
Moose is with us until well into hour 2. So there are other stories that I want to get to. I want to tell you about meeting Scotty Bowman the other night. And I will say just one thing about Battle of Florida, game 2 tonight in Tampa. I'm realizing a lot of how I've changed. Like this is the 4th Battle of Florida series in 5 years. Lightning Panthers. And there's finally starting to be some animosity between the fan bases. After all this time, they you know yourself, you've been here. Everybody's happy here. And these two teams haven't hated each other till now. Tampa's not doing well with giving up the mantle of Big Brother in this state, and their fans are handling it even worse. Okay, so there's sniping going back and forth. It's great for business. As a guy that hosts a Florida hockey podcast, great for business. But the old me, who you knew well, not personally, but you knew how I used to be, I'd be stoking it. All those rivalries, right? Pats, Broncos, Riders, Stampeders. I'd be stoking the fire, fights in the parking lot. Now I'm trying to bring everybody together and calm it down. And to be honest, it feels a lot better. But I don't think it's going to matter what I say. You know what I mean? Like, because people are getting in my face going, you need to pick a side. You're not going to make me do anything I don't want to do. Okay? But that's just what's going on here. Just so you all know, I don't know how long this series is going to be. There are Lightning fans and media that are saying to me that if the Lightning don't win tonight, the series is over. And they might be right. But we'll push the talk of tonight's games until next hour because we move on to a very exciting thing for the football fans who have showed up today. The next 2 points are football related. The first is Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, and 12 other prospects will walk the red carpet at Lambeau Field before going backstage at the NFL Draft Theater to wait for their name to be called tonight. All their hard work has paid off. It's time to enjoy the moment before joining their new teams to work even harder. Cam Ward shouldn't wait long. The Tennessee Titans are poised to select the Miami quarterback with the number 1 overall pick. Travis Hunter, the two-way star and Heisman Trophy winner from Colorado, is likely heading to the Cleveland Browns. This is what this story is saying. With the second pick, and Abdul Carter, premier edge rusher out of Penn State, is a favorite to go third to the New York Giants. Did you see this story? He didn't even mention Shitter Sanders. And this morning I was listening to Pro Football Talk and loving it. Oh, my God, I love Mike Florio. The more I listen to him every day. And Chris Sims. And Florio said, who's kidding who? The story of this draft is Shitter Sanders. And I'm like, good. I didn't miss it. So I'll just jump to the poll question for EMJ Marketing today. Allow EMJ Marketing to transform your event and your audience with one of their all-star speakers from their roster, peruse it at emjmarketing.com and look up Joe there. Where will Shedeur Sanders go tonight? That's our poll question. The options are 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 32, or not at all. But he's not even listed in the top 3. It's a tantalizing story that I love. That's what I've been hearing about for months, and it's finally here, Darren. If I had the time, the gumption, the means, I'd like to be at Lambeau Field. I feel like we're the only ones that aren't. It's pretty exciting tonight.
I know. Very exciting. I think it's 8 o'clock Eastern, the draft. And, Shedeur, you're right, is the big story. How, and it's kind of become how far will he fall? And will he fall out of the first round altogether? And I'm starting to see these negative stories and a coach talking about how arrogant he was in the draft interview process and the attitude and all the rest. And now we're seeing the photos of him after a game holding up his gold watch, rubbing that in the face of an opposing fan or different things. And then you hear about his character and you hear about, what he did in Colorado and how good of a football player he is. I'm curious where this goes. There's so much intrigue. He's being called the Bo Callahan, from the movie Draft Day of this draft. I don't know, man. This is fun. I'll be watching.
Yes, it's so much fun, draft day. I'm thinking of Jerry Maguire. Remember the,
yes,
it's Kush. It's Kush. Oh, all of it. Kevin Costner, Jerry Maguire, Lee Steinberg. This is, I don't know how you would replicate it if you were another league. You never will. Just sit back and enjoy it. Again, they were talking about, you said that coach was trashing Shedeur Sanders. He anonymously did it on what? The NFL Network or somebody reported. An anonymous assistant coach of the NFL trashed Shedeur Sanders up and down. You know how spineless that is of both that coach and the media outlet to allow him to do that? 3 Down Nation used to have that column. The insiders are saying this. They got rid of it because that is skeezy, ballless, chicken shit stuff to do.
How about that?
But it gets the clicks. It gets the clicks. Oh, let's just trash a kid the week of the draft. And you don't have to put your name to it. Oh my God, Darren. So doesn't that make you pull for Shedeur? Kind of tells you what he's been dealing with, and probably his dad too, for decades.
It does. Makes me pull for him a little bit, want him to, see where he goes. And it just makes my mind go to a few places because this is big business. Maybe this is the Cleveland Browns assistant coach. They want to take Travis Hunter and they want Shedeur to fall to the second round so they can get him in the second round. Maybe let's trash this kid so he'll fall to the second round and then we'll get him. Maybe everybody else will scare everybody away. I don't know. You always got to know what's the reason, what's the motive behind this. And maybe that's the motive. I don't know. Maybe they just don't like the kid, but but it's going to make us watch. It's going to make us watch.
Nelson writes in, says he'll drop to mid-20th, 21st to the Steelers. He's not the best quarterback. He's the most hyped quarterback. Utah Darren writes, and he says, smoke screens are thrown out in many ways on draft day. The big thing said about Shedeur Sanders comes from draft day. And the poll just popped up while I was trying to read that. No one attended his birthday party. Smoke screens are thrown out all the time. Well, to quote my good friend Matt Dunnigan, doesn't make it right. We'll be back. We are halfway through. No, only 2 points in. We got a lot to get to. We'll be right back here on Game Plus Television, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are.
sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Honky Tonk legend Mark Chestnut. Celebrating 35 years of music. Joined by special guest Aaron Goodvin. June 28th at Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hour one is for Canadian Blood Services. Give hope to patients in Canada. Register online at blood.ca/getswabbed and spread the word amongst your family and friends. The Moose is with us. It's funny because the streaming audience seems to want to talk about the NFL draft. The texting in on the Progressive Insurance line, Moose wants to talk hockey. We'll cover it both. 902-518-3033 is the number to reach us in studio. Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Switch to Progressive and you can save a bunch. Laverne in Swift Current writes in, he says, well, it's obviously seems like the Florida Panthers have managed their load management very well. All teams are welcome to do it, and all teams and fans should not complain about it. John is in Rosetown. He writes in, he says, Oilers looked flat, not even close to the team they were last year. Got to be frustrating for McDavid. And Ron in Calgary writes in, and he says, morning, Rod. I'm in early for a quick happy dance for LA's win last night. As I've said, Skinner will cost them. So the Flames fans loving that the Oilers are down 0-2. Any thoughts, Moose, on the opening segment before we move on?
Yeah, don't jump on that. Don't celebrate at the 1 yard line. It's 2 games into the series, 2 phenomenal games for the LA Kings. But all of a sudden, a game 3 win from Edmonton, and this thing could be completely flipped. That's all it takes. 1 win, and it's completely flipped. So don't be celebrating too quick.
You know what? It mirrors a little bit of the Senators and the Leafs, doesn't it? I mean, I haven't talked to you a lot about that series, and you're the Leafs fan in the house, so although there are some chiming in now, but it's like, we've all been around. I'd like to think we picked up a few things. When you lose games, especially in the playoffs, and you know why, it's a hell of a lot easier to swallow and come back and fix them and be better than to play your best and still lose and not have any answers. Like, what do you think Ottawa's thinking when they come home tonight for Game 3 down 0-2 against the Leafs, a place where they haven't hosted a playoff game since 2017?
Yeah, they did a great job fighting back in this series and in the game, and then to lose anyways and throw the kitchen sink at you. Now, they'll be in there saying, we can play better. We can still play better. But they cleaned up their discipline issues a little bit, even though, Toronto and the power play is still going to be a thing that's going to hurt you, much like LA with Edmonton. But I think you look at that, and this Toronto team's different. So you got to just keep going back to the well, if you're Ottawa. But you're right. Like, you played very well. You got the game back. You got it into overtime. You kind of outplayed Toronto at times in that game for quite a bit of the game, and still lost. That's a tough one. We'll see what happens tonight.
Mose, it's great to have you back in Toronto. You're looking great. You're sounding great. I just want to pass that along. It seems very, very comfortable. The show's got a lot of great flow, a lot of great energy today. Now, I thought Troy in Toronto was going to write in and write about the Leafs, but he's not. Troy in Toronto writes in and he says, I have no idea if Shedeur Sanders has the potential to be an above-average quarterback in the NFL and is worth drafting, but I love the entertainment and intrigue that surrounds the story. Yes! 1,000 times yes. Not only have I not watched enough of Shedeur Sanders on TV, I sure the hell haven't watched him in person, so guess what? I'm not a scout. I don't know if he should be taken or not. Different story, Cam Ward here in Miami, because I watched him live, and I needed to only watch him for 5 minutes to say, yeah, Titans are getting their next franchise quarterback there, Darren. I really believe that. But it's one thing that I've had to let go, and I am one of those fans. It's annoying to me when fans want to play armchair coach and armchair GM. As a guy who's worked in sports my whole life, I'm like, you don't know. So STFU. But that's also the part of the fun of being a fan, right? So you just got to, I want to listen to people, but you can't listen to people. Do you know what I mean? It's fun, but we don't know. We don't know.
All the best quarterbacks, and I love these lists that have been coming out. All the best quarterbacks and the MVPs in the NFL, none of them were taken first overall. It's not the case. It's very rare in the last 10 years or so. The number one pick is not the best quarterback in the draft class. That's what happens. So that's the good news for the Jackson Darts and the Shedeur Sanders and everybody else, and the bad news for Cam Ward. But it doesn't mean that Cam Ward's not the best player in the draft. You take the best player at number one. And I get it. Sometimes it doesn't pan out. Typically when you go number one overall, you're going to a bad team. So that's a reason why you don't become a great quarterback as well. So you got to think about that. When you go later in the draft, you're typically going to a better team. So that helps you become a better player. So I understand all of those things as well. But the Shedeur thing's interesting. It kind of gives me a little bit of, I hesitate to throw this out because I know what viewers will do with this, but it gives me Connor Bedard comps. Okay, he's not Connor Bedard. He's not coming in here as a legendary player that's necessarily destined for the Hall of Fame. That could all happen. But goes to Jackson State with his dad. Okay, he's doing this, but it's HBCU. He can't do this at NCAA Division I with Colorado. That's going to catch up to him. They're too good. Goes there. He's a finalist for the Heisman Award, right? It's the same thing. Connor Bedard, well, he was really great as a young player, exceptional status, but he's too small at 15 years old to be that great in the Western Hockey League. No, leads the league in scoring, goes to the World Junior. Yeah, but the World Juniors, that's a different level. He's not that's a 19-year-old tournament. Goes there, does his thing, sets records at the World Juniors, every step of the way, just keeps checking them off, right? And I think Shedeur, he's done that. Now can you do it at the NFL? Why not?
Overall, it's funny you say that because We knew that Bedard was going to be all that, but we'd been following him since he was 14. You and I called his games in the Western League when he was 15. We knew that he would be all that, but we haven't had the benefit of watching Shedeur from that age. So we don't know. But there are people that do know, you know. And by the way, I didn't think I asked you what, like, I'm voting Shedeur goes in the top 10. As a matter of fact, I think he'll go in the top 5. What are you voting on that?
I do. I think that at this level, there's a famous video going around. I don't know if you've seen it. The GM with the New York Giants. It's been going around for months and months and months and months and months. The New York Giants GM in his office, and his kid's there, and his kid's saying, he says, "Who would you take?" And the kid says, "I think you should take Jaden Daniels." And then he doesn't take Jaden Daniels, and now he looks like a boob, right? I don't think you want to be the team who passed on Shedeur Sanders. So somebody in the top 10, I think, is going to take a chance on him.
That's the other thing. Travis Hunter would be the safe pick, probably at number 2. He's the Heisman Trophy winner, would be very easily explained. Oh, my God. He can play on both sides of the ball. Not that he's going to, but he's a two-way star. He would be the safe pick, Travis Hunter. But Cleveland needs a quarterback, and so, too, really do the Giants. And when they say Abdul Carter is a once-in-a-generation pass rusher, yeah, well, so was Myles Garrett not that long ago, and what's he done for the Browns? You need the quarterback, okay? So take the chance. Playing it safe, I don't think really works for anybody. Now, God bless the CFL fans. Nelson has shown up, and he says, do we start the Shedeur to the CFL train now? Whose neg list is he on? Carlos in Indianapolis goes, Shedeur is NFL or nothing. And I think we all know that, but it's a nice segue to this point for the football fans that are here today, and then we'll get back to hockey in the next segment. But the new commissioner of the CFL, Stuart Johnston, addressed the media this morning. I was a big fan of it. I watched it live here in Boca Raton, Florida. His takeaways, in no particular order, his 3 pillars moving forward are innovation, community, and entertainment. That's big. They need to attract the younger audience, as has said every commissioner for the last 15 years. I'm not poo-pooing anything. I'm a big Stuart Johnston fan. Very deep voice, a commanding speaker. I thought he did a great job today. Expansion is not a priority for him, and as such, the Canadian Football League. So Halifax, which we all knew. He grew up in Ottawa, huge CFL fan. He said football is simply the best game in the world. And he said it with so much conviction that I believe he actually feels that way. That was about the most of it. But there are those, it sounded like there was not a lot of media there. So honestly, I came out of that going, yeah, he's like, the CFL's in a very strong position. I was pretty hyped. As a CFL fan, a CFL guy, let's go. And then, of course, you see the negative nincompoops. The negative Nancys. Oh, the Toronto Sun wasn't there. The Toronto Star weren't there. Why weren't all the media there? Who cares? But on the flip side, maybe the CFL isn't as big a deal as the CFL and its hardcore fans think. I'm not sure. I'm in it to win it. I'm a CFL guy. Let's go. We're new media. We're kicking ass. Let's kick ass together. That was my takeaway. But I don't know about you. What do you think after hearing that?
It's exciting. You know, when you have somebody new, I'm always excited. Even if, you know, a guy's recycling some of the old things, right? Got to reach the younger audience. Well, yeah, you want somebody new to come in and be like, okay, I know we've said that a bunch of times, but this is the guy who can finally do it. I love new blood, new energy, innovation, entertainment. That's what it is about, right? And I love that he had community in there, because each community is so vital to the league, but also each community is so different and needs to be treated differently. You don't run and market and operate the Toronto Argonauts the same way you would the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 2 different markets, 2 different communities. But I think that's important. Getting those communities going. The entertainment of the game is great. Let's build the entertainment around it, and let's see where this goes. I'm excited to see what he can do.
We share the same vision on a lot of things. He said the CFL product is tremendous. We all know that. So Why is it not making billions? That's his job. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in, the CFL is a big deal in my heart. And it's a big deal in our hearts too, Jeff, but we can also see outside our bubble and realize it needs some work. Colin in Ottawa writes in, he says, thank God the new CFL commissioner does not have expansion as a top priority, and his frequent mention of flag football intrigues me for sure. He talked about flag football for a long time. To be honest, it was a really good start for Stuart Johnston. Talks cheap. That's all. Let's see where it goes. It's a good start. Randy from Winnipeg writes in, he says, Jaden Daniels was at the Caps game last night. Obi gave him his stick in the dressing room after the game. I saw there was all the Commanders quarterbacks were there. It looked like they were chugging beers like it was their job. I don't know if you saw that or not, but they're just having, I love when the teams in the market all support each other. I really love that. Okay, we'll be back and get back to Stanley Cup playoffs after this. We're live on the Game Plus television network, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcast.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Honky Tonk legend Mark Chestnut, celebrating 35 years of music. Joined by special guest Aaron Goodvin. June 28th at Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
That's right. I'm going to push the rest of the Quick Six show topics into the next segment and incorporate it in the sports update because we got the Moose here now. He's dying to go out and have a drag. So we'll get back to the hockey here. Son of a gun, we'll have big fun. I think that's a Stompin' Tom quote, isn't it? Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bayou. Isn't that Stompin' Tom?
Yeah, I think it might be. And you know what? You mentioned going out for a puff, and I love that little gag we got going. Almost to the fact where I almost went to the 7-Eleven to buy a pack of smokes just so I could tuck one behind my ear for this segment. But I think they're really expensive, so I don't think I'm going to do that.
Bingo!
It's not Stompin' Tom. It's Hank Williams. Jambalaya. My bad, man. You would think as a country music aficionado as I am, son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bayou. You wouldn't have any idea what that is, but there's a lot of people singing along at home. I know that. And don't get me going down the country music road, which I started myself. I could go on about it for hours. But it's a sports show. Freddie in Winnipeg writes in and says, good flow today, boys. Just getting this out of the way. Go, Jets, go. And he says, but I hope Curtis Rourke is drafted in the 3rd to 5th round. There is a story at rodpeterson.com right now. It's the 2nd or 3rd story up about where the Canadians are expected to be drafted in the NFL draft on the weekend. And according to the pundits, Alec Ayamaner will be the highest. And he'll be going in the 4th round, and Curtis Rourke will slot in somewhere after that. And if that's the case, that's Saturday. How much do the Canadians in the NFL draft rate in your focus right now, Darren? You're a busy
guy. A little bit. But it's not yet, not until we get out of the 1st round. But yeah, Ayamaner will be good. He's a good player, and I'm really excited to see what he can do at the next level. You know, we're all curious about Curtis Rourke as well. And then the wild card is Taylor Algersma, the Canadian university quarterback from Laurier. Will he be drafted? I think at the very least he'll be signed as an undrafted free agent, but will he be drafted? He's intrigued everybody at the Reese's Senior Bowl. So really curious about him in the later rounds to see if he gets going anywhere too.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the sports show for everybody. That's why we call it the Golden Corral of sports. A little bit of something for everybody, but not too much of anything. And I was driving, where the hell was I? I guess by West Palm. I've been all over South Florida in the last week to 10 days. And I saw a sign that said Golden Corral, this way. And I was almost like, But I'll wait for you, Darren. I'll wait for you. It doesn't take much to get me to go to Golden Corral. I'm ahead in the pick pool 6-4, just so you know. Clark beat me last night 2-1. He took your place, but I'm not using his picks for yours. Only if I beat him would I do that. No. I beat you. I'm leading you 6-4. And when I say a little bit of everything, we're talking from the NFL draft to Junior A playoffs. Darren's watching in Melfort, where they do the Melfort Shuffle, and he says the Melfort Mustangs go up 2-1 in the SJHL final, 2 shutouts in a row. But have you heard of a person drinking mustard for cramping up like Weyburn's goalie was? I saw the score. It was 1-0, right? 1-0 shutty.
Bingo!
I've not heard of anybody. People think I'm not following. I'm following. If you know me, you know I'm following everything. But I've never heard of mustard for cramping. As a matter of fact, I used to battle cramps really bad, and I was told almonds and bananas. Those didn't work either. Best thing for me is Powerade. 0 sugar Gatorade, actually, yeah. Have you ever heard of mustard for cramping?
Yeah, I have. I've heard of it, and it was football player. So I heard of it, football players, and we actually talked about it on one of our broadcasts. Foot mustard is one of 3 or 4 things on my no-fly list. Like, there are things that I don't like that I will tolerate. I will not, like, if mustard touches my tongue, I'm out. I'm done. Can't do it. Just can't do it. So we had great fun with that. I'll take the cramps. I don't care. I will not. Other things that I don't like, I will eat, but not mustard. But that is the thing I heard. And the bananas, you mentioned that before, and that was the famous interview from the Toronto Blue Jay, right? The monkey, no cramps, right? Eat banana, no cramps.
Was that?
You say Kikuchi? Who was it?
It didn't work for me. It had to be Munya Kawasaki. That's who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where the hell's he now? But that was so funny. And I like what Clark just said. He played the hot take. Moose's hot take is mustard. Moose don't do mustard.
No.
For mine, it's pickles, cucumbers. I have a few. I can't stand them. But my brother was peanut butter. And my mom actually thought this was funny, but I didn't. We used to, let's just say, we didn't rodeo together. He rodeoed, and I went with him, okay? He tried to get me into rodeo, and I'm like, I don't want to be a cowboy, but I'll come with you. So one time I hopped in the truck with him. So he'd have been like 17. I would have been 11. So I hopped in the truck with him, and we're off to the rodeo or the practice. And I had just had a peanut butter sandwich. He's like, get out. I'm like, what do you mean? He could smell it from across the truck. Get out. Go brush your teeth. My mom thought that was funny. I didn't. Hurt my feelings. But anyways, yeah. I'm facetiously saying that wasn't, they don't call it rodeo practice. But it was like jackpot team roping, and they threw me on some steers. I tried to ride it, and I'm like, I don't like this. These animals scare me. I kind of like to shower. You guys don't even shower. It's disgusting. It didn't last. Troy in Toronto writes in, and he says, I'm the same with ketchup. It's my kryptonite. I hate it. Barf. That's where my brother and I are similar. We drink ketchup, as you know, like it's our beverage. Oh, my God, I love it. Brent in Florida, who is a meat connoisseur, he says some people claim mustard, particularly yellow mustard, can help due to its turmeric content and potential anti-inflammatory properties. Good old chat GBT. I was going to say, you don't know that. I can't even spell that or pronounce any of that. And as Nelson says, how do you practice bull riding? Get on and try not to die? That's exactly how you do it. That is exactly how you do it. I feel like making our picks now. Do you want to just get them out of the way?
Yeah.
For tonight?
Let's do it.
Okay. The New York Knicks at the Detroit Pistons, Game 3. Who you got? I'm joking. Oh.
They play tonight?
I almost feel like I'd almost feel like I'd be better off flipping a coin in these hockey games. I just looked at the clock. We got to be quick. Florida at Tampa Bay tonight. Who do you like?
Panthers again.
Okay, I'm taking the Bolts. Toronto at Ottawa. You go first.
I think Ottawa gets one back at home. I'll go Ottawa tonight.
I'm taking Leafs then. Vegas at Mini. You want me to go first or you go first?
Yeah, you go first on this one.
Vegas.
Yeah, you go.
How about that?
I just did. Vegas.
Mini. I'll take Mini.
Okay. Winnipeg, St. Louis. I know who I'm going to take, but so
yeah,
you go.
Me too. We're both going Winnipeg. I can tell.
Yeah. How'd you know? Okay. All right, man. See you in hour 2.
All right.
Mike Richards is coming up next hour as well, but mini overtime is next. We got a real hot one going, Barney. We'll be right back here on Game Plus TV, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are found.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. the Create space at IKS.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
It's what we call mini overtime for our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Hockey season's never over with Overtime Hockey Lanes. They're open year-round. What can I say? $99 pass gives you unlimited lane time. If you live in Calgary, get down there and check them out. Tell them the RP show sent you. If you're going through Calgary, stop in and ask for Randy and Michelle. It's where skill and fun collide. 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. I got to get this out. My friend Brent from Wellington, Florida, big Panthers fan, season ticket holder, says, you just keep picking the bolts, Rod. And I was teasing. I'm like, are you trolling me? He says, no. You picked him Tuesday and the Cats won. Let's keep it rolling. I know. But as the Lightning fan said to me today, if we lose tonight, it's over. And it's, you talk about learning how to ride a bull. This is like riding a tiger, as Harry Neal used to say. Pray you don't fall off. This rivalry is really bursting at the seams, Panthers and Lightning. I know nobody cares outside this state, but it's exciting. What's up, guys? I just heard something in my ear. What's up? So did you brush that button? You bumped the button. Okay. Troy in Toronto writes in. He says, I'm so happy to be in my home office and not on the road today so I can overshare in the comment section. I can't comment and drive. It's an exciting day for a lot of reasons. Stanley Cup playoffs, NFL draft tonight, round 1, and the CFL commissioner spoke for the first time this morning. What am I saying about it? It was a great start. Heavy Gym Sports Update. Christian Walker homered in a 3-run second. Ryan Gusto pitched well into the 6th, and the Houston Astros beat the Toronto Blue Jays 3-1 to sweep the 3-game series. George Springer hit an RBI double in the 4th for the Jays. They've lost 5 in a row and are off today. Braden Edwards had a goal and 2 assists as the Lethbridge Hurricanes defeated the Calgary Hitmen 3-1 in Game 7 of a WHL Eastern semifinal. The Hurricanes will make their first appearance in the East Conference Championship since 2018 and are set to meet the Medicine Hat Tigers. Hey, Vancouver. Lionel Messi and Inter Miami visit the Vancouver Whitecaps tonight for the first leg of the CONCACAF Champions Cup semifinal. A crowd of more than 52,000 is expected at BC Place Stadium, with fans hoping to see the Argentine legend in action. Messi didn't play when Miami visited the Whitecaps last year. I'll tell you this, and Brent will probably appreciate this or agree with this. Inter Miami has the most expensive gear in this town, let's just say South Florida. By far and away. I go and try and buy a T-shirt for Inter Miami. It's $125. I'm like, nope. Their jerseys? Forget about it. They're like $350 US for a soccer jersey, which I never wear. But I don't mind the black and pink T-shirts that looks like Bret the Hitman Hart stuff. But $125 for a T-shirt? Get out of here. It would be Inter Miami, Dolphins, Heat, Panthers, Marlins. Way down, you can't even see with the Marlins. Nobody wears Marlins stuff. You get mocked if you wore Marlins stuff around here. The sports headlines are for Heavy Gym. Heavy Gym isn't just about lifting weights. It's about lifting your spirit, your strength, and your potential. Step into the gym that's changing lives. Find out more at heavygym.ca. Moose returns in hour 2. Oh, boy. Rhonda in Swift Current writes in, and she says, so I'm not a big hockey fan, but saw Craig Button's prediction. So I watched a few games, and I've come to conclude that you got to stay out of the penalty box or you're going to lose. It's not rocket science. She said she's cheering for the Maple Leafs because Brady Tkachuk is a meathead. And says, hoping Craig Button's right about the Jets. One thing about Craig, who was my dad's boss for close to 20 years with Dallas Stars, he's not afraid to make a prediction and come out with the bold statements. Craig isn't afraid to do that. That comes with a lot of stuff being thrown back your way. He don't care. Does mustard solve cramping? It's the first we've ever heard of it. Brian in Hudson's Bay writes in, and he says, I hate mustard, can't stand it, will never eat it, but I eat peanut butter by the spoonful. Well, that's good for you. Fake Gainer writes in, he says, hey, Pastor Pedersen and Heel Moose. Old coach told me half water and half Coke was the best thirst quencher. Maybe I'll start pounding mustard during games instead. Okay, Kirk in Toronto. Mustard all the time on my Red Hots and mock meat sandwich. Mock meat? Hour 2 coming up right after this.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
honky-tonk legend Mark Chestnut. I'm gonna get alive. Celebrating 35 years of music. I just wanna hold you close. Joined by special guest Aaron Goodvin. I'm all boom, boom, boom. June 28th at Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Right now.
I'm wearing headphones, rocking it back old school radio days.
How about that?
And somebody said it looks like I'm plugged into a Walkman. And I remember when I got my first Walkman, because my brothers and I had to share it. And I was the youngest, so how often do you think I got it? And you had your case of cassettes, and then people started to crap on your music selection. And I'm like, then bring yours then! How many times did we have that conversation at parties?
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Rick Regan. Welcome to the RP Show. It's Hour 2, setting sail here on Game Plus Television across Canada, Canada-wide on Game Plus TV, and in 32 states, and streaming and podcasting. The Moose is back home in Toronto from his Southern California trip. And just before we move into Hour 2, Darren, Freddie in Winnipeg says you might want to get some of those Popeye candy cigs. It would be way cheaper than going to 7-Eleven and buying some darts, okay? So I'm just passing that along. Any thoughts coming out of Hour 1 from you, Darren, before we go in? Before we plunge forward?
I'm all in on the smoke break, and I feel like coming back for Hour 2, I should just be butting out the ash into an ashtray, to get ready for the second hour of the show. Anyways, we're taking this too far, but it's fun.
Or hold up the yellow fingers.
Yes.
So gross. So gross. Okay. Mike Richards is coming up in the next segment from Sportsnet 960 The Fan, Calgary. But before we get to him, you guys want to hit the Quick Six show horn, and for all the latecomers that are rudely showing up late, this is what we've been talking about. NHL leftovers from last night. Are the Oilers done? 85% of respondents in our Instagram poll saying they are. After their 6-2 loss in LA last night, both Darren and I and any reasoned hockey fan knows they're not done, but are going home down 0-2 to the LA Kings. NFL draft is tonight, round 1 in Green Bay. We'd love to be there, but we can't be everywhere. And our poll question is, because I didn't miss this, the number one story of this draft is where will Shedeur Sanders go? Deion Sanders' kid. He's not even ranked in the top 3. The poll question is, where will he go? 1st to 10, 11 to 20th, 21st to 32nd, or not at all in the first round? Both Darren and I voted that he will go in the top 10. The vote, by the way, is split 30-30-30-10. It's, Guy, is there any other intrigue behind that for tonight? That's pretty good amount of intrigue. Reason to tune in tonight, right?
Yeah, it's gonna, the Cam Ward. I don't think there's any intrigue around number one, Travis Hunter. There's intrigue around him. He's very good. But outside of that, it's all Shador, and that's where it's going to happen. If he's sitting there, they're going to keep panning to him, and they're going to keep cutting to him, and his reaction as another player gets taken, and what's he thinking, and you start wondering who's next. It's going to be, wow, drama tonight.
Yeah, and listening to Florio this morning on Pro Football Talk, my God, I feel like him and I are spirit animals. And we've had an association over the years, but he was telling old-time draft stories. Like, I kind of wish we did do more NFL talk on this show. God knows we could. The NFL's told us they'd like us to talk more about them, but stories from not that long ago. Like, he was talking about Johnny Manziel when he went to Cleveland that year, and he said, I know this as a Cowboys fan, but I'm not sure how many people do. The football staff had to hide the phone from Jerry Jones because Jerry was going to call in the pick of Johnny Manziel. And the scouts were like, no, Jerry, no. But he got sucked in by the hype. And basically what the reason that story came up from Florio was, will an owner grab the phone from his personnel people and say, let's take Sanders? Because that happens. Apparently that happened when the Browns took Manziel. So, yeah, I know so many fans would not believe the crazy stuff that happens in the world's greatest league, the NFL, but it does. It's crazy. So there is a lot of drama there. Tony from Cochrane, Alberta, says, with apologies to Kermit the Frog, it ain't easy being Brown. There's a lot of hard luck teams. Darren's a Titans fan, for the love of God. Darren's got it just as bad as Browns fans, as far as I'm concerned. Rob in Las Vegas writes in, he says, the Oilers' offseason decisions to let go of younger developing talent, Dylan Holloway, for aging, often injured vets has not worked out for them. Can we wait until the body is not twitching anymore before we perform the autopsy? Please, because I kind of had it up to here with the Broberg-Holloway talk. Brent from Wellington, Florida is talking about the Blues-Jets, which we'll get to. We made our picks last hour. Broberg and Holloway did not affect the Stanley Cup playoff run last year. Broberg barely played. Why are we talking like they let go Paul Coffey and Glenn Anderson? I'm sorry, but it's just, come on, it's wrong. He's not even an Oiler fan. And I love Rob. He's a great guy from Vegas. He's originally from Winnipeg. But Darren, that is way, way, way too overplayed. Them not matching the offer sheets for the Blues. As far as I'm concerned. What do you think?
I mean, these same conversations were happening when the Oilers went down 3-0 to Florida. Oh, too old. Not enough support for McDavid and Draisaitl. There was excuse, which I get. You need to have reasons, and then all of a sudden they came back, and you're like, "Oh my God, this is the Oilers. They're going to win it." Like, your opinion changes. I said this when we started the playoffs. I said everything changes after every game. We go into one game with all these thoughts and opinions, and then all of a sudden the world is falling, and then all of a sudden the world's falling the other way after every single game. That's just how the playoffs are in the NHL. So it'll all change after tomorrow night, for sure. It'll all flip back, and all of a sudden everything will be happy.
Hey, everybody say what you want. Say what you want. Just don't expect me to agree or even necessarily listen to it, okay? Oh, man, are we having fun today. Darren said how much he detests mustard, like he just won't even have anything to do with mustard. Kirk in Toronto writes in, and he says he puts it on his mock meat, and I almost puked. Mock meat? Say that out loud. What do you think you're eating? My God, Brent from Wellington, Florida, who's a meat guy, probably just puked in his mouth. He just writes it, and he says that mock meat would be bologna. Dutch tree. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about
like bologna.
That. Mock meat. I would never. It's like, right, so do I. But I would never eat Spam. I mean, I did. I wouldn't eat it again.
And there's different. Mock meat? No. I'll eat a veggie burger once. Like, I've had a veggie burger. Not bad. But mock meat, I'm not into that.
Don't ever tell my dad you ate a veggie burger. As a beef-producing Saskatchewan cattle farmer. We got bogged down here. It's on me. Yes. It's on me. I delved into the viewer comments again. The CFL commissioner, by the way, Stuart Johnston, spoke for the first time this morning. And one of the things that he said, I didn't put it in my tweet and I should have. He said that the foremost duty of his office is protecting the integrity of the CFL, the league, I would have guessed the brand. And when I heard that, I'm like, well, because I watched it live on the streaming, I'm always going to be a CFL guy. And that CFL Plus, that's what they streamed it on, the same channel that they stream all their games internationally on for the CFL. I have never had one glitch, not one time, from the CFL on that. So I know the CFL takes a lot of bunk for the stats, and rightfully so, and stuff, but there are things they do really well. And Stu is a TV guy, so that should all work well. But as far as the integrity goes, Nelson writes in regarding the draft. He says, because the NFL drafts tonight, tomorrow, Saturday, the CFL drafts next Tuesday. Nelson says, will anyone in either draft a dead guy? And Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, LOL, the Ottawa Rough Riders. Twice. So when you want to talk about protecting the integrity of the game, here's what I will say to Stuart Johnston. Look inside the walls of the castle before you look outside the walls of the castle. Because it's the guys inside that destroy the integrity. Okay? That's the one thing where I've argued with the CFL for decades. They kill themselves. We all know that. Can you stop that, Darren? I don't know if they can. That's it. That is his biggest job.
Yeah. But let's not worry so much about all the things that, all the mistakes that the previous commissioners have made, or mistakes that have been made in the league, or the things that have gone wrong. Like, let's not be oblivious to them, because we learn history is the greatest teacher, right? We learn from that and we want to be better. But let's not, well, this didn't work, that didn't work, this has happened, that has happened. You need a clean slate with great ideas and a vision. And let's execute the vision. And let's not bog him down with all the things that have happened in the past. He's got to learn from that and fix mistakes. But this is clean slate. Everybody gets a fresh start, right? Everybody's new. Let's have optimism and let's drive forward. let's let him see what he can do.
Thank you. I'm waiting to hear from the CFL, by the way. It's 1:11 Eastern. Hello. Thank you, Carlos, also for pointing that out from Indianapolis. It's 1:11 Eastern.
Beautiful.
Visualize a positive outcome to your current quagmire. It does work. What do you got to lose? Yeah, Darren, thank you for that. Thank you. Oh, I'm waiting to hear back from the CFL. Earlier this week, they said that they thought that Stuart Johnston could get on this show tomorrow, Friday, Football Friday. So I'm waiting to hear back. And there were questions that weren't asked by the handful of people at the news conference this morning that I have. I'm like, don't ask my question. Don't ask. They didn't. But not shocking. We don't think the same way, me and those guys. Okay, just regarding mock meat, and Brent, please pay attention because I got a question for you at the end of this. Brent from Wellington, Florida says, if y'all would like me to tell you what's actually in mock meat, let me know. LOL. I promise you will never eat it again. How are you on hot dogs, Brent? Because I was going to go have some this afternoon. Can you tell me? Thanks. Again, hot dogs, where are we on hot dogs? I feel like they wouldn't serve it if it was that disgusting. Colin in Vegas continues. He says, I worked at a grocery store deli, Rod, and I was shocked at how many people ordered mock chicken deli meat. So disgusting. I was always wondering, why not order the real chicken? I know. But their thing is, we have to understand, not everybody was raised on a farm like me. Darren's from small town Sask. You have that rural understand. You've been on a farm. Come out there sometime. We'll teach you what goes down. We'll teach you about kill or be killed. We'll teach you about mating. That was my dad's. What? Look at the size of that thing. All those things you see on the farm, you don't see anywhere else. Meat does not come from the grocery store. Okay, Brent says one step above mock meat. Well, it's above. Above is above. We just won't be having hot dogs at Brent's house. Okay. He just says, have you ever seen one at my house? LOL. No. Okay. Darren, can you get us back on track? Get us back on track, Darren. What would you like to talk about here?
I don't know what the track even looks like from here, but we only got a couple minutes left. In the day, we already made our picks. We took care of all the business. Yeah, I'm curious. Like, just to get back, let's get back to hockey then. Sure, why not? Let's go back to hockey. I'm curious to see what'll happen tonight. Excited for it. It's going to be a great night. And I'll say this. Being out in the Pacific time zone is really awesome and really bad. And the East is really awesome and really bad for both different reasons watching sports. Complete opposites. There, the early games at 4 and the late games at 7. So you can go to bed at 8:30 and all the games are over, which is outstanding over there on the West Coast. That's awesome. But when you're when you're at home, that's awesome. But when you're on vacation, it's different because you're going out for happy hour and going out for dinner. And then you get it back and there's no games to watch. I'm a night owl. So getting back here, getting to watch the Leafs and Senators at 7, and then the Jets and Blues at 9:30, and then Leanne goes to bed at like 9. I stay up late and watch the games. It's a dream for a night owl being in the Eastern time zone to watch the games. So I'm excited to be back.
Okay. Good. The 4 games tonight, we made our picks last hour. For those that didn't hear, Darren and I both have the Jets to win at St. Louis tonight. And then we split on the other. I got the Leafs to win at Ottawa. He has the Sens. I got Vegas to win at Mini. He's got the Wild. And he's got Florida to win at Tampa tonight. I've got the Bolts. In the time we have, I was sitting there in the rink in Tampa the other night. I haven't talked to you about this, just going, God, you can't not respect the Lightning for all they've done, the way they treat me and Serena, our Cats and Bolts podcast. Historically, over the years, remember we had a sports trip. We went down there. The Lightning were like, come on into our room. Meet Steven Stamkos. Meet John Cooper. It just, you can't. I want to think the Lightning are still that strong. But if they lose tonight, even their own fans are saying they're not. So I think they will be who we thought they were. Okay. Darren, enjoy yourself, your afternoon.
You bet.
Thank you for your efforts.
Awesome. Good to be back.
The iconic Mike Richards from Sportsnet 960 The Fan, Calgary, joins us next. NFL draft thoughts, Stanley Cup playoff thoughts, CFL commissioner thoughts, Blue Jays thoughts. They've lost 5 in a row. We'll be right back here on Game Plus Television, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcast.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Shania Twain.
Let's go, girls.
Live in Moose Jaw. Shania Twain. One incredible show. Live at Temple Garden Center, July 7th. With special guest, Lindsay L. Get tickets Friday, March 21st at 10 a.m. at the Temple Garden Center's box office or sasktix.ca. For more, visit ShaniaTwain.com.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Okay, everybody, I'm going to need you to help me out here for a while. Just like yesterday, in a way, we don't have a Mike Richards sighting. He can't get logged in. He is aware he's supposed to be on right now. We're having a connection issue. So let's hype up the comments. Progressive Insurance text line 902-518-3033. Switch to Progressive and you can save a bunch. Or write me in the YouTube chat. All of our topics are on the table. I'll tell you that Hour 2 is brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. In Landmark Cinemas now, The Amateur. Rami Malek plays Charlie Heller, a brilliant but deeply introverted decoder for the CIA working out of a basement office at headquarters in Langley, whose life is turned upside down when his wife is killed in a London terrorist attack. When his survivors refuse to take action, when his supervisors refuse to take action, he takes matters into his own hands, embarking on a dangerous trek across the globe to track down those responsible. His intelligence serving as the ultimate weapon for eluding his pursuers and achieving his revenge. Rami Malek. If you don't know him, he's the guy that played Freddie Mercury in the movie about Queen. The Amateur. Now playing in Landmark Cinemas. There are a few things that we did not quite get to today. I'm actually quite proud of the fact that Darren and I covered everything that I wanted to in the time with him. We went over our picks twice and how this got into deli meat. Oh, we can thank Kurt from Toronto for starting that whole discussion. Apparently, the goalie in Weyburn last night was cramping, so they gave him mustard. And I guess that solved it. And I said, I've never heard of that before. Is anybody else? That devolved into Beyond Meat, mock meat, sandwich meat. Jason in Red Deer writes in and he says, all our topics are on the table, including deli meat. LOL. Yeah, exactly. I didn't expect to go down that road. Rob in Vegas says, living in the Pacific time zone is awesome for viewing sports on TV. I know, right? And the East sucks. It's funny. Okay, here we go into the stories. And that's why y'all say you don't mind when it's just me, because it's more of my stories. And we're awaiting Mike Richards joining us now from Sportsnet 960, The Fan, Calgary. But I had a chat the other night with, okay, it was overflowing press box in Tampa. So when I got to the rink, they said, oh, you're not in the normal press box where we normally put you. You're down in the auxiliary press box. I'm like, hey, whatever, just happy to be here. And they put me with all the NHL scouts. Perfect, because those are my buddies anyways. My brush with Scotty Bowman occurred up in the normal press box. But, so I'm talking to the NHL scouts, and one, I'm not going to name them, but he just said what a great job he has. And I said, well, yeah, I said, you get paid to watch hockey for a living, but there's a lot of wear and tear on you. Come on, let's get real. He goes, whatever. He goes, I'm still getting paid to travel across the USA and watch hockey. Life's great. And he goes, by the way, my biggest bitch today is that this game didn't start tonight till 9. That's my biggest complaint. That's when it started, you guys, 9. I live in Florida. Most nights we're in bed by 8:30. They wanted to have a double header in the Eastern time zone, the NHL, the other night. But again, I'm not going to complain about the NHL. Everything they do is great. The game in Raleigh started at 6. The game in Tampa started at 9. They try to fool you by saying 8:30, but no. By the time they got through all the pomp and circumstance, it was 9. I'm not complaining. The difference is we had to drive home after the game and didn't get home until 3 a.m. Rich in Edmonton writes, and he goes, story time. Love it. What else would you like? I will take requests now as we sit here and await Mike Richards, which is unfortunate because we've never had a problem getting Mike Richards on the air before. But you know Bingo. What? Now he's all big time. Now he's all big time, Mr. Sportsnet 960, the fan Calgary. And now we didn't have time for it. I'm teasing, of course. I mean, thank God people are finally starting to get onto my sense of humor around here. You all get it. I'm very rarely ever serious. Wayne in Victoria, BC. I love living in the Pacific time zone. I don't have to stay up late to see all the games. Right, but we do. Okay, here are the notes that I had because it is a sports show. Let's try to get somewhat serious here. Talked about the home ice factor. Did you know? Because I didn't until I looked it up this morning. Home teams are 12-4 in these Stanley Cup playoffs. And you're going to go, well, that stands to reason. It's called home ice advantage. No. The last 2 springs, 24 and 23, the road teams were the victors. The majority, like 55 to 60% of the time. 12-4 home teams is pretty resounding. For those that are degenerate bettors or for those of us that just have fun picks on the games. By the way, Brent from Wellington, Florida, I don't think was watching earlier on when I got into the Florida-Tampa fan animosity. And Brent's still with us today. He says, what team should be worrying the most at this point in round 1? The Oilers. I don't even got to think about that. The Oilers. Ottawa's down 0-2, but they're supposed to be. Montreal's down 0-2, but they're supposed to be. New Jersey's down 0-2, but they're supposed to be. The Oilers are down 0-2. They're not supposed to be. So what I was saying, Brent, to all of those people outside this beautiful state is that they're starting to get some animosity between. It's not starting. It is there. Fan animosity between the Lightning and the Panthers. And again, a lot of you longtime viewers of this show or have been following my career for a long time would know all those wars in Canadian sports leagues. I was fanning the flames, stoking the fire. And it was fun. And it was sort of like, well, if there's fan fights in the parking lot, not my problem. And now I realize, that's probably not what you want. Case in point, the Hockey News sent out a tweet the other day after the Panthers stomped the Lightning in game 1. They just destroyed them. If you watched the game, we were there, Brent and I. And, and the Blues. David number 1 from Winnipeg. He says, I feel sorry for Serena. Lovely lady must not be taking it well and is worried. To be honest, I shouldn't speak for her, but I feel like she expected this. The Blues are down 0-2, but we're also expected to be. So the Oilers are the team that are the biggest trouble. Anyways, the Hockey News sent out the tweet that said, so the Panthers are the team that we feared. And the Panthers retweeted it and said, yeah, we are. Or something like that. And it just sent the Lightning fans into a tizzy. And they're like, we need to take this cocky team and their fans down a notch. As we say out in the country, that horse might be out of the barn. And down the road. It's probably, I don't think you're taking any stuffing out of the Panthers. You might win tonight. You're not winning the series. I was on a Tampa Bay podcast last week called We the Thunder, and they referred to the Panthers as little brother. And I'm like, oh, boys. I didn't say it. I thought it. Brent from Wellington, Florida, Panthers fan that I went to the game with. He goes, I didn't have anyone throw anything at me or curse at me yet. Oh, just hang on a second. The social media war is a lot different than what you're going to see on the street because you can say whatever you want online. Are you going to say it to a guy or gal's face? That's next. Which is a whole other thing. Hey, Mike Richards stood us up, so in that case, I take that as license to talk about whatever I want. So with our Cats and Bolts podcast, I get that. I'm just saying, as long as he's not with us, I'm going to keep talking about my stuff. That's all I'm saying. So we had a young kid from Florida Gulf Coast University say, I want to come on your Cats and Bolts podcast because I've got issues with what Serena thinks about Florida hockey. Sorry, I was on a train of thought and then he popped in my ear and it's gone. Anyways, it became a fight there. And this was his point was, he goes, I think the Battle of Florida now, Panthers Lightning, is the hottest rivalry in hockey. How do you think that went over as a staunch Oilers fan that she is? But the thing is, she didn't blow up. The kid who, he was a hockey player from Florida Gulf Coast University. He looked like a 24-year-old hockey player, okay? And he was very reasoned. And he was like, this is why. Bing, 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 bing. It didn't turn out to be much of a fight. But of course, we all think Battle of Alberta. You can say Battle of Ontario is. But he's like, right now, not historically, right now, it's Lightning Panthers. Well, yeah, probably. The Flames aren't even in the playoffs. So it is a reasonable argument. And how did the Battle of Alberta happen? Because they kept playing each other every year. Same thing's happening here. And Battle of Ontario, just so you know, I got the Leafs winning tonight. Ottawa, Darren has Ottawa winning tonight. Who do you have, Clark, winning tonight? Leafs or Sens? Settle the tie, please. He's got Leafs. Clark has Leafs, and Clark actually beat me last night in our picks. 2-1, just so you know. So, must-see TV again tonight, as is the NFL draft. Did I cover that? Not in this segment, I haven't. As listening to Mike Florio this morning on Pro Football Talk, he said, the story of this draft is Shadir Sanders. And I'm like, oh, my, thank you. That's what I thought. And you have to understand something. You go deep into my psyche for this, but I've had a lifelong history of people saying, you don't know what you're talking about, Rod. You don't know anything, Rod. So I used to believe that. Oh, I don't know anything. That's what I've been told my whole life. No, I was right. It is Shadir Sanders. It's the number one story. So that's the poll. And that's the thing. I'm dying to ask Mike Richards his thoughts on, I want your thoughts. And some people have written in on this. Our poll question today for EMJ Marketing is, where does Shadir Sanders go? Deion Sanders' kid. If we wanted to spend 2 hours on this, it would be very easy to. All the other shows are, just so you know. What makes this one different is we talk about the hockey and the Blue Jays and the CFL and everything else. But round one of the NFL draft goes tonight. 3, they say, franchise-changing players are available at the top. Cam Ward, quarterback from Miami Hurricanes here. Abdul Carter, rush end at Penn State. And Travis Hunter, who won the Heisman. He's from West Palm Beach, Florida, which is 21 miles up the road from where I'm sitting right now, and they love Travis Hunter up there. The kids want to grow up and be the next Travis Hunter. Why not? Nobody's mentioning Shedeur Sanders in that top group, yet will he be drafted in the top group? I think his record all time at Colorado was 34-16. Never missed a game in his entire collegiate career. And for those, if you're not following, I'll just inform you because I know a lot of you aren't. Some U.S. publication, I'm not sure which one it is, quoted an anonymous NFL assistant coach who just trashed Shedeur Sanders up and down. And it's got some people upset. Yeah, it's unfair and very cowardly to do that, both on the coach's part and the media source to print it. It's caused Shedeur Sanders' stock to fall. In the mock drafts it has, which is the media, who, I'll be honest, God bless them, they're not scouts. Okay? So any NFL do you think these NFL teams that have been researching these players for years, oh, The Athletic quoted this guy who doesn't even have the balls to use his name. We can't draft him at number 3. No, they know. It's not hurting his draft stock, but it's changing what you all think. Now would be a good time, by the way, just to do this. And hey, listen, I'm good friends with all the media. Some will be upset when I say this. Most won't. It'll tell you what kind of people they are if they get upset about this. Take the mock drafts, and God knows there's roughly, 1.7 million of them out there? Print it off. And then match it up to what actually happens tonight. Because most are way, way off. Way off. It's a lot of fun to talk about, but you can't get a scout to do one for you. I've tried. They won't, because it's too hard to predict. And the scouts actually know because they're watching these players. But you want Bob from his
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
honky-tonk legend Mark Chestnut.
I'm gonna get alive.
Celebrating 35 years of music.
I just wanna hold you close.
Joined by special guest Aaron Goodvin.
I'm all boom, boom, boom. So
June 28th at Temple Garden Center.
brother jukebox.
Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
I'm assuming no Mike Richards? Is that what I'm safe to assume? Okay. Yeah. The Millennium Falcon hit an asteroid.
Bingo!
Knocked us off the air for a bit here, so. What a week. I'll be glad when this week's over. I see Mitchell Scruffy Blair is stealing our text line. Can you? I feel like my bookshelf is like way crooked. It's me. It's me. 902-518-3033. When will Shadir Sanders hear his name called tonight? Scruffy just stole that. He just tweeted it a minute ago. We tweeted it an hour ago. 33% of you saying 11 to 20. 33% of you saying 21 to 32. 22% of you saying he'll go in the top 10. 12% saying he won't be picked tonight at all. It's enough drama for me. It's kind of muddling up my Battle of Florida Game 2 watching plans. But I'll be following along. Yeah. Jason in Red Deer writes in and says, welcome to live television, folks. You got that right, brah. Okay, thank you all. Hey, a lot of you really enjoying our football talk today. And hockey, too. This was actually funny. So I got the Leafs tonight. Moose DuPont has the Ottawa Senators to win Game 3 tonight. We asked Clark to settle the tie. He picked Toronto. And Jason in Red Deer says, Rod, did you just ask a Leafs fan who's winning the Leafs game tonight? LOL. I did, but Moose is a Leaf fan. He picked Ottawa. I feel like early on in these series, it's a lot easier to pick the games early in the series than later in the series. And I'm just speaking out loud. I'm no betting expert. Maybe the odds makers in Vegas are sitting back going, ha, 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 we knew that 100 years ago, Rod. That's probably true, but I'm having a very tough time picking the winners. But it's also a lot easier having no affiliation to any team or rooting interest. As you know, the Panthers treat me great, but the Lightning do too. I'm happy either way. And fans of both teams have been in my grill today. Pick a side. I don't want to, so I'm not going to. Carlos in Indianapolis says, Schinner may be the number one media story, but there are so many other stories surrounding the NFL draft. Yes, but you know what? I'm going to leave that up to the NFL Network to cover those. Not necessarily here, not today. We just pick up on the highlights. Of all leagues, what's the biggest story? Shedeur Sanders. That's what I'm watching for tonight. And the beautiful thing about the NFL draft, more so, tell me if I'm wrong, folks, than any other league is, we get to find out next fall, probably, who won the draft. Who's stepping in right now and playing? Somebody want to look up, if you don't mind, somebody who knows far more than me? Who's been the best drafting team over the last 10 years in the NFL? This is important stuff. This is the stuff that the football people talk about. This is the stuff that the hockey people talk about. I remember in the 90s when my dad was right in the throes of his time scouting with the Dallas Stars. The take in the 90s, the best drafting team in the NHL of the 90s was the New Jersey Devils. And that wouldn't really surprise anybody. They won 3 Stanley Cups in that time. Who's the best drafting NFL team? Is it Kansas City? Because they've won the most Super Bowls? I'm just guessing. I don't know. I'm not a football personnel guy. Because I'm looking at the top 5 teams. What is it? Tennessee, Cleveland, Giants, Patriots. Those top 3 teams are grease fires. They're always picking. They always got the high picks, have you noticed? And then number 4 is New England. And you sit there and think, oh, the New England Patriots. Well, they're looking a lot more now, post-Belichick and Brady, like they did pre-Belichick and Brady. They're already on their second coach past Belichick. How many quarterbacks are they on it past Brady? So that's another story is what's New England going to do? Maybe I'm not thinking they're going to take a quarterback. They think they have their quarterback. Okay, so Mike from Winnipeg says Baltimore Ravens drafts have been awesome. Well, they're always in the mix. Jeremy from Winnipeg says Eagles, Chiefs, Patriots. I mean, I feel like we could punch this into ChatGPT and we'd find it there. Or you guys are my ChatGPT. Again, I don't know enough. I kind of miss being around the NHL scouts like I was with my dad because I always got the buzz, the important stuff. And that's why I enjoyed the other night, the Lightning stuck me with the NHL scouts. They probably thought I was upset about that. I'm like, hot damn, that's where I want to be anyways. Actually, even with the Panthers, the mainstream media is all down at one end of the press box, and we're situated at the other end. And when I say we, Serena and I got spots down near the pro scouts. Perfect. Jeremy Colin in Ottawa writes in and says, I think Philadelphia Eagles are probably the best drafting team over the last decade. Roddy, the Eagles GM, Howie Roseman, is considered the gold standard for football personnel head in the NFL. Here's a good one. Jeff in the Zone. That's his name, watching on streaming. He says, hey, Rod, what are your thoughts on the Regina Pat Canadians? Just for those that don't know, that is the AAA U18 team that is at the TELUS Cup, the national, formerly midget hockey tournament in Canada. And guess what? I know that they're unbeaten. And Maddox Schultz had a hat trick right in the last win. What do I think about him? Keep going. You thought I didn't know? Daryl writes in from Calgary. He writes, oh my God. Daryl from Calgary says, Los Angeles, longtime Los Angeles Chargers fan, do we take a running back with our first pick tonight? No. And as a matter of fact, I'll bet you right now, they won't. Only because I still believe running backs are a dime a dozen. I actually heard this the other day. There have only been 5 top 10 running backs inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Look it up. I don't know what number the Chargers are picking at, but I think you can find a good running back, not with your first pick. My bet, Daryl in Calgary, you come back here tomorrow and you tell me if I was right or not. We're way past time for a break, so that's on me. I'll get to all your comments in a second. Kirk in Toronto, a good one. He says, hey, Rod, mock drafts and mock meat on the RP show today. How about that? Brought to you by Nathan's Hot Dogs. We'll be right back with Overtime after this. What a week. Live on Game Plus Television, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are found.
Capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Honky Tonk legend Mark Chestnut. I'm gonna get alive. Celebrating 35 years of music. I just wanna hold you close. Joined by special guest Aaron Goodvin. I'm all boom, 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 so June 28th at Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Overtime Hockey Lanes brings you overtime. I know they're proud to do so. We've been great partners for a real long time. You can find them in Calgary, where we have so many viewers of the RP show. And nobody does birthdays like Overtime Hockey Lanes. So for the hockey-obsessed birthday boy or birthday girl in your house, let Randy and Michelle at Overtime Hockey Lanes handle all the stress of the birthday. Just head on down there to 28th Street Northeast and put it on them. They'll be glad to. Tell them the RP show sent you, okay? Thank you. We don't ask you for much. What do you want, everybody? Do you want me to sit here and continue to read your messages? Because I could do that. Or I could read a sports update. Howbeit we do both. On the Shitter Sanders thing, I don't think he'll mind me saying Coach Matt Dubuc, or as they say in Quebec, where he's from, Matt Dubuc. The most famous Florida high school football coach is watching the show. He's texting me and he goes, Shitter Sanders is not Deion. That's the whole issue with that quarterback. He's in the backlight of his father and did everything to outshine his father, and it backfired. He would know better than me. Again, here's the couple things we're tuning in for tonight. Where does Shitter Sanders go? As Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk said, that is the number one story of the draft. Although, as Carlos from Indianapolis has said, it's not the only story of the draft. I want to know how the hell we're going to fit 250,000 people into Lambeau Field. That's what I want to know. But they'll find a way. They got 750,000 into the link in Philly last year, or around the link. Oh, my God, it's unbelievable what the NFL does. Which, by the way, Coach, back in hour one, we discussed the CFL Commissioner Stuart Johnston's first ever news conference this morning. It was right at the 12:30 Eastern mark of the show. And I don't know, the CFL said they're going to put him on this show tomorrow. I'm hoping to get confirmation of that. But there was a small smattering of media there. None of them asked the questions that I have for Stu. So I'm hoping to get him on tomorrow to answer his questions. Laverne in Swift Current writes, then he says, pardon the interruptions, Wilbon and Kornheiser yesterday. The reason for the transparency in the NFL on injuries is strictly for player protection. I kind of get it. Safety first, instead of having the goon on the other team goes after somebody's known injury. Somewhat closure on that topic. I could have told you that. That's why they went to lower body or upper body injury. And we're not even sure if that's the case, if that's true or not. That's also not new. That's been going on at least since the 90s that I remember. Darren in Melfort writes in, he says, sorry, I brought up mustard today. I didn't know it would lead to spam and mock meat. You don't know where this show is ever going to go. That's the beautiful part of it. I got to speed things up. John in Rosetown. Matthew Tkachuk continues to be a playoff beast. Panthers will be a tough out because their players have heart, right? They're following the Battle of Florida. Finally. Heavy Jim Sports Update. There are 4 games tonight in the Stanley Cup opening round. The Leafs look to go up 3-0 as they visit the Ottawa Senators, as do the Winnipeg Jets at St. Louis. Elsewhere, Florida visits Tampa Bay. Cats up 1-0. Minnesota visits Vegas. Series is 1-1. 3 games on the NBA sched tonight. Canadian Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder are aiming for a 3-0 lead in Memphis. Canada's Jamal Murray looks to lead his Denver Nuggets to a 2-1 series lead against the Clippers. And the Detroit Pistons host the New York Knicks, tied 1-1. The Toronto Blue Jays are off today following a 3-1 loss against the Astros in Houston last night. Houston swept the 3-game series. The Jays are now mired in a 5-game losing streak, and they'll return to action Friday against the American League East rival Yankees in New York. I should have put a bet on that one with Joe Girardi, my gym buddy. Heavy Gym isn't just about lifting weights. It's about lifting your spirit, your strength, and your potential. Step into the gym that's changing lives. Find out more at heavygym.ca. Doggy, did we cover a lot of fantastic topics today? Our 3 favorite leagues. Thank God they've all become year-round leagues. NHL, NFL, CFL. And we dabble in the side dishes. Oh, Brent in Wellington, Florida says, yep, all made from beef. It's just what parts of the beef. I'm not sure what he's talking about. I missed it. I missed a big section of the streaming. Bill, the Leafs fan, says, how about a fast sports dinner story? Oh, we don't have time other than, hey, you ask with a minute to go for a sports. We were talking about, okay, this Beyond Meat, mock meat thing. One of my favorite sports dinner gags is after dinner, we're about to start the program. Show of hands. How many thought they were eating chicken? Ba-dum-bum. How about the night in Carlisle when I told Matthew Barnaby and Andre Waugh, we're leaving at 10:30. I'm driving. Sober guy, reminded, I'm like, I've become my dad. After midnight, I am still there, and Matthew Barnaby finally had to put Andre Waugh into a headlock and pull him out of the hall in Carlisle. He looked like a steer wrestler, pulling him by the head out of the hall in Carlisle. That's how much fun we were having. I get it. But I'm like, boys, you got a flight at 7 a.m. back to Toronto, and I'm leaving. Barney didn't want to get left in Carlisle. Nothing against Carla. Dude, I got $1 million. $2 million. See you tomorrow, everybody. Football Friday.
Who has more fun than us?